You sent me your biggest shoulder questions: bench press pain, overhead pinching, sleeping discomfort, and today I'm giving you all the answers. But here's the catch. Every fix I'm about to show you happens inside your training. No extra rehab work, no 30-minute warm-ups, just simple changes that let you keep lifting. If bench press wrecks your shoulders, the first thing to check is your setup. Most people go too wide on the grip, flare their elbows, and press with a flat bar path. Those three things together crank up compression and shear forces at the front of the shoulder. When you go wider than about 1.5 times shoulder width, you put the shoulder into abduction and internal rotation, a position that narrows the subacromial space and irritates the biceps tendon or the front of the joint. Here's the fix. Bring your grip in to about 1.2 times shoulder width. Tuck your elbow slightly around 30 to 45 degrees and press with a normal bar arc. You're not weakening the movement, you're changing the force angles to make it shoulder friendly without giving up load. And if you're still getting flare-ups, switch to neutral grip dumbbells. That slight rotation difference can make a big impact for sensitive AC joints. Keep it in your push day, same sets, same RPE, just better mechanics. That pinch you feel at the top of overhead pressing usually means your scapula isn't rotating well or your shoulder joint is being forced into a range it hasn't earned yet. Instead of ditching overhead work, let's build a smarter progression. Start with a landmine press. It naturally moves in an arc that promotes upward rotation and scapular control. Once that feels good, progress to high incline dumbbell press, and then you can move back to full overhead pressing. And if your scapula is the weak link, it's probably your serratus that's not doing its job. You can add in some push-up pluses. Those build the control your shoulder needs before you press overhead. Dips are brutal if your AC joint is sensitive because they load your shoulder at the bottom of deep extension, which maximally compresses the joint. If you feel sharp pain during dips or soreness after, that's your sign. But again, we don't necessarily cut out the movement pattern. We just mod the angle a little bit. Swap dips for a close grip decline push-up or a low incline dumbbell press. Both hit similar muscles, but they avoid the deep shoulder stretch that crushes the AC joint. Then, once symptoms calm down, you can reintroduce crossbody loading gradually to build tolerance back up. But don't rush it. The key is you're still pushing, you're just protecting the joint while you build resilience. Most people think rotator cuff pains means the muscles are weak, but often the issue is that you're only loading it in one position, or not at all. Instead of isolating the cuff with light dumbbells, let's build it into what you're already doing. Step 1, add a scaption raise. That's a thumbs up raise at about 30 to 45 degrees in front of your body. Step 2, add banded external rotation at the same angle. Arms slightly out from the body, not pinned at the side. Step 3, finish with a row that ends in a reach. The last 2 inches of protraction turns it from a lat movement into a scapular stabilizer. Clicking or popping without pain usually isn't a big deal. It's called crepitus, and it's incredibly common, even in people with zero shoulder issues. But if it starts to hurt or you feel unstable or catching, that's where we pay attention. Here's how to train around it. Add slow tempo rows where you pause at the end and feel the scapula settle. Follow that with light controlled shoulder circles overhead like a standing halo motion or kettlebell armbar if you're advanced. These reinforce scapulohumeral rhythm, the coordinated movement between your shoulder blade and your arm. If the front of your shoulder lights up with overhead pressing, curls, or deep benching, it's probably the long head of the biceps tendon. That tendon runs right through the bicipital groove and gets irritated by constant traction or impingement. But again, the fix isn't a bunch of band drills, it's smarter pressing and curling. First, use a neutral grip on any overhead or horizontal press. That slight rotation shifts stress off the biceps tendon. Next, cut the range of motion slightly. Avoid deep shoulder extension if it aggravates you. Then add supinated curls and, if tolerated, shoulder flexion curls in the scapular plane. If your shoulder flares up at night, it's probably because it's getting stuck in a compressed position for hours, usually overhead or pinned underneath you. The goal is to keep the shoulder neutral, supported, and unloaded, especially if it's irritated from pressing or overhead work. Here's the quick setup. Lie on your non-painful side. Hug a pillow stack so your painful arm is slightly elevated in front of you. Avoid letting that arm fall across your chest or under your body. This reduces passive stress on the posterior capsule and prevents impingement from sustained positions. If you've lost internal rotation, especially if you've been benching or throwing a lot, you've probably been told to do the sleeper stretch. But the sleeper isn't great for everyone. It compresses the joint while trying to stretch the capsule, and for a lot of people, it just recreates pain. Instead, try this. Do a cross-body internal rotation stretch. Arm across chest, pulling gently at shoulder height. Pair it with some light banded external rotation to reinforce full control through range. Nope, you don't train quads every day and your cuff isn't special. You need consistency, not frequency. Aim to train your cuff 2 to 4 times per week with progressive loading and pain-free range of motion. And remember, most of your cuff training should already be happening inside your push, pull, and accessory work. If you're doing that, you don't need to add more volume. Load it, recover, progress it. That's better than throwing a band around your elbow every morning. If one of these tips helped or gave you something that you can use today, drop a comment and let me know which one hit home. And if you got a shoulder question I didn't cover, leave it below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to get more videos like this every week.